Wait, what's
for
the title?
liberty.
I told NCSoft people think their game is pay to win trash. Here's what happens.
Not only did I
Oh
ask them a
god.
couple of questions in regards to monetization in the West, as well as the version that we're getting in the West, but I was also sure to let them know that a lot of people in the West are already calling their game pay to win garbage simply because you can purchase Lucent,
Mhm.
which is their auction house currency, with real money. Here's what happened.
일단 외국에서는 이게 루센트를 살 수 있다는 게 아예 페이 투 윈 현질하는 게임, 쓰레기 게임
It's a
이렇게
garbage game.
생각하는 사람들이
He actually said it's a garbage game.
엄청 많아요. 저는 이 게임을 많이 해봤기 때문에 저는 솔직히 되게 재밌다고 생각을 하는데
Okay. Say something sweet, then
외국에서는
lay it
잘
on him.
됐으면 좋겠는데 근데 그런 안 좋은 이미지가 좀 너무 많고 그리고 NC 소프트도 히스토리도 그렇게 좋지 않다고 생각하는 사람들이 거의 다 그렇게 생각하고 있거든요. 외국에서. 그래서 외국 서버 나오면 이게 루센트를 살 수 있는 그 지금 현질하는 시스템이 똑같이 가는 건지 아니면 아마존이 그걸 조금 바꿀 수 있게끔
To keep the vid short, I followed this up asking question 2. Will we get the same version or get an older build version? Okay.
만들 건지
두 가지 질문이요. 좀 나눠서 설명드리면 그 저희는 글로벌 서비스를 하나의 같은 정책으로 해서
Wait. Because our goal is to keep the global and Western service as one identity, we currently do not have plans to operate them separately. So basically, the answer is no. We're not changing shit, bro.
것들을 지금 목표로 하고 있기 때문에
Oh no.
별도의 것들로 운영할 계획은 현재 가지고 있지 않습니다.
In Throne's defense, though, it is not like as a completely free to play player and not even like battle pass. I didn't even buy the battle pass at all in in Korea. I didn't really feel weak. I was able to kill people who spent on the game just because I was active enough. And in large scale, the power of whales felt even less. Like I feel like at certain points of the at certain points of the game, your choice of weapon combination mattered more than your spending. But that's not to say that spending doesn't help, because the difference between somebody who has fully maxed out heavy attack traits versus somebody who doesn't have fully maxed out heavy attack traits is pretty noticeable.
그리고 서비스 권역이 두 군데이기 때문에 또 아마존이랑도 저희가 협의를 해서 진행하는 부분들도 있고 하지만 일단 저희가 같이 협의
I feel like that changes when you have a full guild of whales. Through time whales might take over pay to win. Yeah, it changes when you have a full guild full of whales. But how many guilds can actually afford or can actually do a full guild full of whales? You know what I mean? And like for example, axes, right? Axes in KR, they were in small skirmishes. The fact that like they actually wailed out, but I think it was also mostly the fact that they were sword and shield, which is pretty OP at the time. Was very very OP at the time. I feel like when you brought them in to a siege setting, like a mass PvP setting, they didn't even make a dent. Like they had zero impact.
하고 나가고 있는 거는 저희는 한국 서비스 그리고 아마존 서비스 전체가 다 하나의 서비스 비슷한
What's gonna be dangerous is if they did they already implement that whole thing where it's just 30v30 or something like that, or just guild v guild in wars? Did they implement that yet? I haven't played in like a month. So if they implemented that, then yeah, that's gonna matter 100%.
결로 나가는 것들로 지금 같이 협의하고 가고 있는 부분이라고 설명하면 될 것 같고 그리고 뭐 과거의 올드 버전을 가지고 뭐 서비스를 하나요 이런 질문으로 제가 이해를 하면 될까요? 네, 네. 그랬을 때
그 버전이 같이 가느냐 아니면 뒤따라가느냐 뭐 이렇게
네, 지금 이제 서비스 그 하기 시기가 한국 서비스보다 조금
Okay, that makes
서비스를
sense.
하고 그리고 저희가
Improvement.
한국 서비스를 하면서 부족한 부분들을 개선한 부분들 중에서 일부 뭐
Okay,
앞쪽의
that's pretty standard.
경험이라든지 이런 부분들은 지금
That's not the question though.
그 에이지스 쪽에 나가는 버전에 먼저 적용을 하고 있어요. 근데 결국에는 양쪽 다 적용이 되는 내용들이고 쉽게 설명드려서 개선된 것들이 양쪽 다 반영돼서 개선될 거다라고 표현
Yeah, this
말씀드릴
is pretty standard. That's what happens to BDO. That's what happened to like Lost Ark. You know, like the whole meme that like Korea is basically the beta
면 될 것 같습니다.
or the test server.
그러니까 과거의 어떤 스냅샷을 저희가 가지고 서비스하는 계획은 아니에요.
일단
네.
루센스를
Wait.
많이 싫어.
I spoke further reiterating the pay to win part. Bro, Canon's a G for this one, bro. He might get blackballed, but you know, I think the West is going to really dislike it, the Lucent pay to win system. If I'm allowed to give my recommendation, okay, he's right in saying that. Like to me personally, somebody who's experienced the whole system in KR and knew that it didn't really it didn't really create like a huge like game breaking difference, then yeah, sure, I'll still be like, yeah, it's okay. Let's just play anyway, right? But to people who didn't play KR, which is basically a huge majority of the player base in the West, all they have to hear is the fact that the marketplace currency can only be bought through real money, and the only other way that you can get it as a free to play player is by selling stuff in that marketplace, is already a huge turnoff for a lot of people. That's I think because of the huge difference in like culture between like the East and the West, right? And like this culture is like, you know, Korea, like Southeast Asia, China, right? It's a huge difference in culture, because in the West they only have to hear that part, which they will hear, because there's a lot of people that hate the game and will say it on like Reddit or whatever, and that's enough for people to not even try it. Whereas if you just didn't have that at all, and then you had like a system where you just made real, like, let's say that you make like really good skins, like you hire the same people that work for Vindictus, which is basically what Black Desert did, right, to do your cosmetics, and they're really good, they look really good, you'll make a lot of money. Yes. Or even if you do like a subscription thing with like pay to convenience, but not pay to win, it would be good. Yeah, people were arm team for items. Do you think more games should go with the sub model instead of the pay to win ability? It's so the sub thing is like tough. I feel like it's tough. What you could do is you could, I mean, this will divvy up your population, but you could have a server that's for sub only with zero pay to win. You could try that. You could test the waters with that if there's enough interest in that. And I can see that people will veer towards that because basically anything that you achieve in the game, if you achieved it in servers that allow pay to win, people won't really respect it. Like, you can't really be quote unquote proud of it, because like, you know, you're playing at even if you say you're free to play, but there was like pay to win capabilities in your server, people would have less respect for you. But if you did certain achievements in a server where pay to win was not allowed or did not exist, then you would get more respect for it. So that would be like motivation for people who, you know, who want to compete in that regard to actually go for the sub servers. Yeah, you could definitely 100% try it.
할 것 같아서 제가 만약에 추천을 할 수 있다면
네.
루센트를 살 수 있는
Completely
거를
remove the
아예
ability to percent Lucent with money and make it easier to farm.
빼고
They're not gonna do that, bro.
루센트를 파밍을
It's a very bold statement, and it's very honest, and it's very it's very helpful if they want to break into the Western like audience and remove the bad. Basically, if they did what Canon is suggesting right now, all the bad reputation that they had prior to this, like NCSoft, is gone. That's it. And then any game that they release in the future, the West will be more likely to give a try, because at one point in time with Throne and Liberty, they actually removed the pay to win. But the problem is that this game just has been in development for so long. I can't even imagine the amount of money that was put into this game. And now I get it from their perspective. number one, it's like, yeah, sure, if we remove this the ability to purchase Lucent with money and not cash out on this as much as we can as soon as possible to recoup our investment, then we're at a negative. We basically bled money. And the investors when it's like earnings time is not gonna be very happy. So I get their perspective from that. That's probably why they're kind of hesitant to do that. Because it's sure in the East that's gonna be really easy to recoup your money, but in the West I think they just don't quite understand that people will spend money here just because the game is not pay to win. People don't even I've like there's it's so prevalent over here in the West where it's like even if the skins are shit, like for example New World, the skins were so shitty, but people still spent money and bought them just because they wanted to support the game.
좀 더 쉽게 왜냐면 솔직히 현질을 안 하고 게임을 하면 루센트 파밍하는 게 되게 힘들어요. 이게 좀 네, 그렇게 경험이 그렇게 좋지는 않은 것 같아요. 일단 외국에서는 이제 스론이 이제 나오는 게 이제 기대하는 사람들이 많은데 이제 그 페이 투 윈이라는 게
You can purchase Lucent. There are a lot of people that won't even try the game.
게
Exactly, that's what we just said. Canon's absolute bro. Kanon is laying it to these guys, bro. Kanon right now is speaking nothing but facts right now. And I'm kind of worried they might blackball him for like events and shit. But he's 100%. There are a lot of people that won't even try the game just because that stigma exists. Now, if they remove it, all of a sudden you just have this whole influx of people that now want to try the game.
아예 시작도 안 하는 분들이 많을 거예요. 그런 피드백이 제일 많아요. 그래서 저 채널만뿐이 아니고 다른 분들도 뭐 좀 외국에서 유명한 콘텐츠 막 비오들 많.
Pay to win. I noticed this later. Communicating with a lot of viewers if you see their chat. Okay, so here's the thing. For big streamers, I think Kanon should have printed out those chats and actually brought it to them as kind of like in court. But if a lot of big streamers, if they know that a game is just so blatantly pay to win, and they know that they have a big viewer base that doesn't like that stuff at all, they're not gonna risk ruining their reputation.
분들도 그 채팅창을 다 보면 그게 무조건 페이 투 윈 안 한다. 그리고 당연히 이제 나쁘지 않다 이렇게 얘기를 하는
It's not
사람들도
bad,
있지만
so
그래서 차이가 있는지 그걸 궁금했어요.
현재는 뭐 하나로 협의되어 있는 현재
Okay, so they're basically just saying they're not going to change anything.
하고 있는데 말씀처럼 페이 투 윈의
Yeah, but as you said, the concerns surrounding pay to win, or as some would see it as aggressive monetization or prejudices about the game and the company, we will continue to discuss and improve this matter further.
이런 부분들에 대한 어떤 선입견 그리고 이제 회사에 대한 어떤 선입견 이런 부분들을 어떻게 좀 풀지라는 부분들로 계속해서 잘 협의하면서 좀 개선해 보겠습니다. 내부에서도 지금 고민하면서 논의하고 있는 주제이기도 합니다.
Oh, wait. The subject is continually being criticized and discussed internally as well. Okay. So there's at least they're actually talking about it. So there's a chance.
하면서 논의하고 있는 주제이기도 합니다.
혹시 여기 팀이 외국에 지금 가지고 있는 마인드
Is your team aware of the Western mindset? The fact that you can purchase Lucent?
이런
Bro, he's really pushing this thing and making them understand. But I just feel like they just have their ears and their hearts closed when it comes to this subject right now. But good on Kanon, bro. These are the hard-hitting questions that need to be asked. He's asking them multiple times. But it's just unfortunate because we predicted it earlier, they're just gonna have a non-answer.
통할 것 같아요. 아니면 약간 좀 약간 미국 외국 문화를 잘 알고 계시는지 그것도 되게 궁금.
How bet money? How many of you guys think that they actually took offense to this statement?
궁금해요.
저희가 이제 직접 전체 글로벌 서비스를 하지 않고 권역을 나눠서 하는 부분들도 그쪽 문화에 대한 이해도가 높은 퍼블리셔를 통해서 서비스를
Because they have better understanding of the respective regions than we can go through. Yeah, but Kanon is letting you know right now the Western mindset. He's making you understand.
하는 부분들이 인 거고 지금 우려하시는 루센트라는 부분들도 이 정도는 가능할 것 같다라는 부분
We believe that this much is possible. So basically, they're saying that this much pay to win is manageable.
들도 협의가
So
되기
they
때문에 지금
want
진행을 하고 있는
to move forward with it.
부분이거든요. 저희도 되지도 않을 거를 지금
We are not trying to do something that is bound to fail. You should probably listen to
할
him.
생각으로 진행하고
Brother
있는
man.
부분들은 아니잖아요. 그래서 우려하신 부분들을 그 AGS 쪽이랑 잘 풀어서 좀 개선해서 나갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
그리고 이제 루센트 시스템에 대해서 굉장히 사람들이 많이 나오고 외국뿐만 아니라 사실 우리나라에서도 굉장히 그걸 안 좋게 보는
In
분들이
both global
많은데
and Korea.
저는
Okay.
지금 이 자리에서 좀 말씀드리고 싶었던
However, I just want to say that there's a lot of people here who has put in a lot of hours
지금
into
이
TL.
자리에 TL을 되게 좋아하시는 분, 그러니까 TL을 되게 열심히 하시는 분들이 많이 계시잖아요. 근데 이분들 중에 혹시 그 루센트 시스템이 너무나
Is there anyone here who thinks the current solution system is excessive? Is that a real question?
그 과도한 과금 유도였다거나 아니면은 이걸로 인해서 이제 페이 투 윈으로 너무 이제
The pay to win system makes it hard to play the game. Okay, buddy. Okay, so is it excessive compared to like all the other hard pay to win games out there? It's not the most excessive pay to win. Yes. But that's not the point though. The point is that so long as the statement you can buy Lucent, which is what is used to purchase items in the marketplace, to strengthen yourself far faster and easier than somebody who isn't, as long as that statement remains true, the majority of Western players won't even touch this game. They won't even give it a chance. You could say that launch is next week, and they wouldn't care. Because they've already written off the game.
그 게임이 좀 어렵다 이렇게 느끼신 분이 혹시 한 분이라도 계실까요? 저는 진짜 이게 없다고
I
생각하거든요.
truly think there is no one. It's a cultural difference, bro. It is a cultural difference.
그러니까 막상 해보시면은 그러니까 외국인 친구분도
The foreigner friend did mention this would be received negatively.
이제 조금 이게 조금 부정적일 것 같다라고 말씀하셨지만 직접 해본 사람들은 이게 되게 유저 친화적이고 되게 좋은
Players will understand that the game is user friendly and is a good system. It's not a good system though. That's the whole deal. Is it manageable? Sure. But is it a good system? Absolutely not. You have a system where if nobody spends money, your entire marketplace system is no good. It doesn't even matter. And your biggest PvP event, which is Castle Siege, which the rewards are a percentage of all the Lucent spent on the marketplace, only exists if people spend money on the game. It's not a good system if the whole caveat behind the success of this system is people spending money, because eventually player base will go down, less people will spend, and then the events that have happened, which the hype does die down every single week as the hype dies down overall with Castle Siege, it dies down even further because less people means less Lucent rewards. In the Korean launch, when we won the first Castle Siege, how much Lucent did we get? We got like around maybe like 3k Lucent or something like that, 2k Lucent maybe. And that's being in like that was being in 1 HP. So when it gets to NA or to the West, if that is the biggest thing that you can achieve, then that's such a bad precedent. But But if you are not able to buy Lucent, and if they followed Kanon's suggestion, where it would have different sources for Lucent, for example, then that would make castle sieges even more appealing to people. Because now there isn't a huge influx of this currency that depends on how many people spend money, but instead everybody's getting a reliable source by playing the game.
좋은 시스템이라고 저는 생각을 해요. 그래가지고 이제 그 지금 이 시스템을 운영하시는 분들이 너무 이제 큰 뭔가 비난을 받
Oh my god, man. Why is he even wearing a mask, bro? Take off that mask. You can't be wearing a mask when you're sucking this much dick, bro.
않으셨으면 좋겠다 이런 말씀을 드리고 싶었고요.
So that last clip was in response to me. Actually, he was just another player or audience member that was there. He was just essentially saying that, you know, as you guys read from the clip, he thinks that the system is fine, and he wants, he's hoping that NCSoft gets more credit for what they've done. To be fair, I actually don't disagree with him in that regard. Number one,
I misspoke here. Meant to say that I don't disagree completely. Yeah. I was about to say, if Kanon actually did correct himself here, I don't disagree with him. It was like, stop the cap. NCSoft has done better. The system isn't egregiously pay to win, which we can agree, but it's still not a good system. Exactly. It's not egregious. Nobody's saying that it's egregiously pay to win. Like that guy was trying to defend. It is not egregiously pay to win, but it's not a good system either. And we just explained why. And it's not good as well for the game in the West because a huge majority of the players and the MMORPG players in the West, the moment that they see that stigma is there of you're able to buy a currency, which is the only currency you can use to buy stuff in the marketplace, where you can buy the best gear if they're put up there, right? I mean, that's a caveat. That's the consolation, right? But they will be put up there eventually. People are just not going to play the game in the West. There's a huge majority of the players that will not give this game a chance. And even more so because of the fact that there's other games coming out. So why would they want to pay? Why would they want to play this quote unquote, and this is how they're going to call it, pay to win garbage? Why would they?
one, NCSoft's all of their previous titles up until this have been really bad when it comes to monetization.
Mm-hmm.
Throne Liberty's monetization, despite being systematically pay to win from day one, like they announced that even before the game came out, that Lucent system, the monetization hasn't gotten worse. In fact, you could argue that it's gotten better. I would absolutely say that it's gotten better. Outside of the premium subscription they just did recently add, outside of that, the actual systems in the gaps between a free-to-play player and a pay-to-win player, they've improved. It's been easier to catch the pay-to-win players. It's been easier to reach the caps of gear as a free-to-play player, which, by the way, I mentioned this in my TL review video, which I'll link in the description below. I do want to be very clear that my opinion on the pay-to-win is still the same. That is that in comparison to other Korean MMOs, it's really not that bad. I personally believe that the pay to win in Throne Liberty is better than the pay to win in Lost Ark and BDO. In other words, I think BDO and Lost Ark, it's more pay to win.
I don't think so. I don't think it's less pay to win than BDO. Because BDO you can buy stuff in the marketplace for silver, which you don't need to pay premium currency. You don't need to whip out your wallet to be able to buy stuff compared to like grinding for it in BDO. As a matter of fact, BDO has made it so as long as you actually play the game, it doesn't even make sense to pay to win silver because silver per hour is just so improved to a point where it doesn't make sense to pay to win. It's like if you're just straight up just pay to winning all the time, it doesn't even make sense because you could spend $1,000 and get like several billion or so, right? That's not gonna get you a pen black star. You know what I mean? But what you can do in BDO is that as long as you're actually playing the game and you're actually grinding, you'll be able to buy everything because you can buy everything in the marketplace with silver. Straight silver. In Throne and Liberty, the downfall of Throne and Liberty's system is the fact that the only way to buy anything in the marketplace is through Lucent. And the primary source of Lucent is spending money. Which is to say, there's not even going to be Lucent circulating in the game without people spending.
Than Throne and Liberty. That does not mean I accept the fact that pay to win exists. I am certainly more tolerant to it because it's like every game is pay to win now, right? And if you are looking at it from the lens of, hey, I am tolerant to a certain degree, how bad is it? As long as it's not too bad, I'll play it. Then I think Throne and Liberty will be just fine. But that still doesn't mean we can't try to voice our opinions and let them know, hey, we don't want pay to win to begin with. Being able to purchase Lucent, being able to purchase gold is pay to win. We don't want that, period. And that's what I kind of hope to do. That's what I kind of hope to do in this forum, because not only did I want to express that opinion, but I also wanted to genuinely see what their reaction would be, what they would say. I don't know. I mean, how many opportunities do we get to talk to the top of the people at the top of the food chain,
Yeah,
top
he's
of
right.
the pyramid when it comes to these?
He asks the
MMOs in
real
Korea
questions.
and tell them face to face directly. Be like, hey, on behalf of the Western community, we don't like this shit. This is what people think of you and your monetization scheme. It's not good. Also, I do want to mention that the updates that they did announce.
I do agree with Kanon here though. I feel like they should have been more appreciative of his candor. You know what I mean? Like he was basically giving it straight to them. Exactly what the Western crowd has been saying. And that is very valuable information. And I feel like they should have definitely responded a lot better.
Almost all of the stuff that they announced were big W's. The community really liked the content that was coming. And they actually also added things that look to be on paper less pay to win. It looks to alleviate the pay to win a bit, but they did add more vertical progression. So we're going to just have to see how those two things balance out. But overall, the roadmap, including the pay to win gaps or the pay to win systems, it seems to be getting a little bit better, even better since the beginning. But again, it doesn't excuse the fact that the game is systematically pay to win. Put it this way, guys. If they announced that the Western version of Throne and Liberty was going to remove the ability to purchase Lucent, if they were going to remove the ability to purchase Lucent with real money, there would be W's across the board. That single change would mean the game, as long as you're tolerant to battle passes and optional premium subs, which I feel like is a very different thing to straight up being able to purchase currency. If they were to remove the ability to purchase Lucent in the West, that would be such huge. I mean, it would help their reputation, and it would also be the difference between tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of players playing their game at launch. NCSoft, Amazon, please understand and recognize, especially NCSoft, the Western audience is the biggest audience you're going to get with Throne and Liberty. It is your second chance. Throne didn't do very well in Korea for obvious reasons that you're already aware of. The amount of people playing Throne in...
And he's right about what he said earlier as well. It doesn't matter how good the next updates are, because the market or the player base that won't play so long as you can buy Lucent is still not gonna play. It's only gonna be better for the people that are already gonna play it anyway. But that doesn't change the fact that the people that won't play, so long as Lucent is purchasable through cash, is still not gonna be there. So those quote-unquote free-to-play friendly updates are not really gonna matter. because you've already lost that audience. You've already lost that player base.
Korea is not even near the amount of people that are going to be giving it a shot in the West. You can multiply that number significantly by just removing these elements, which I know they're not going to be removed because the game fundamentally relies on this and they would have to completely change the game.
Important context, sorry. It fundamentally relies on pay to win Lucent because Lucent cannot be generated in game. Exactly. That's what we. And if no Lucent is purchased, no items can be bought, no tax can be issued. That's exactly what we discussed earlier as well. Lucent cannot be farmed directly. Items can be farmed to sell for Lucent that is purchased by real players on the auction house. All items are traded, bought, sold, are farmed by players in game. Your Lucent minus tax, which goes to Siege Purse, goes straight to the player that farmed them. Yeah, exactly. The whole system is not good because of that fact.
If they wanted to remove the Lucent system, which they're not going to, but just understand the Western sentiment. Please try and be a little bit more in touch with that. Please try and recognize that more. I'm telling you this right now. It's so significant. You are losing so many players by just having this system of being able to purchase Lucent for your launch. It's huge. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. What I found most worrying was they think AGS will know what the Western audience wants. Oh, okay. Let's be fair though. Let's be fair. They did make New World not pay to win, right? So I do think that AGS does know what the Western audience wants. Maybe that opinion was hurt a little bit because of how poorly New World is doing now, but I'm pretty sure that the non-pay to win definitely helped New World instead of hurt it. And I hope that they recognize that. And I hope that, like, you know, New World as an example isn't brought up to prevent the removal of pay to win in Throne and Liberty in NA. Because I honestly, look, from an MMORPG player's perspective, I want it to succeed. From a content creator's perspective, I've put in so much work in this game, even with like the leveling guide, that I would be very sad if it failed within the next few months. And all that work is basically gone. So I truly hope